I'm going to proceed by assuming, always a bad idea, that you've read the related info. You've looked at and read the related info I have prior to this video in the quest related to kerning. Kerning's an interesting thing. Once you learn about it, you will see examples of bad kerning everywhere, including my work. It'll happen. I'll make mistakes. No one's perfect, but we try. Now, a couple tricks. I want to teach you some new shortcuts. I'm in Illustrator. I do not have the text tool. If you got the text tool active and you got a cursor flashing, none of this works. Because if I hold down the space bar and I have that cursor flashing, I am adding spaces. And that's not something we want. So I let it go, hold the space bar, you get the hand. Click and hold on the left mouse button. You can drag this around. Very, very useful. Okay? Spacebar. Try it. Open up your file. Hold down the, pause this video. Hold down the spacebar and move it around. You're going to use this 47,000 times this year. So you might as well learn this shortcut. Works in Photoshop too. With the same caveat, don't have the type tool active. If I double click and have this here and I hold down the space bar, you understand I'm going to add spaces, right? That's not something we want. Now when you kern, it's always a good idea to get in close. And you heard that, suggestion you kern 3 letters at a time. Look at those 3. Which one has more space, here or here? Now we're zoomed way out. How can you really tell? I mean, I've got it. I can see what it is. There's a definite answer. There is more space between the V and the A or the A and the L, one or the other. I don't want to give you the answer yet because I want you to see it for yourself. Now, second shortcut. You hold down the space bar, you get the hand, right? You hold down the space bar and the command key. You get the magnifying glass. Don't just click, 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 click. Don't do that. Hit Command 0 to get back to full screen. Don't just click. I'm going to hold down the space bar and the command key with my left hand, and I got the mouse here. And now I'm going to say, I want to zoom in on these. So I'm going to hold this right here, and I'm going to start dragging. And then I'm going to move this over. Now, when you look, when I ask you, is there more space between the V and the A or the A and the L? What I'm asking you to look at is not how far this line is from this one and say this point is from there. Because if you do that, you don't see what's really happening. These 2 lines are virtually parallel. So they form a parallelogram here. It has a specific area. But these 2 lines are not parallel, and they form this, what the heck is it called? Trapezoid? I don't know. They form this other shape which has the boundaries have more room at the top than at the bottom. So look at this. I want you to answer this. I want you to definitively say there is more space between blank A or B. And the answer is, have you determined your answer? The answer is A, obviously. Look at this. You can see it. Double click to get your cursor. Now, you have to have set your preferences correctly because right now, the kerning, this is the default, this is what we set our, what is this? This is the default kerning? I don't know because we've already set tracking. We got something screwy here. Because it's in parentheses, that means that the program set it. I'm going to tighten it up a little bit. I'm going to hold down Option. Now remember, with tracking, we held down Option and used the right and left arrows to increase and decrease the tracking. The same shortcut works with kerning because you're dealing with moving this space. Option and the left arrow closes this up a little bit. And notice that those parentheses are gone because we have set this ourselves, so now this changed. And now you look and you say, is it too much, not enough? And you move it over. maybe move it over again and say, that looks a little closer to being correctly spaced. Then we move this over. I'm holding down the space bar, and you look at these letters. And obviously, there's more space here, right? Because you don't just account for this, you have to account for all of this. But because of this, here's where kerning gets really weird. It's not math. And you can't just measure the area of these two pieces of negative space. It's visual, and it's an art. It's not a science. And I'll show you some examples of kerning from my youth and how it worked out. And you just move right down the list. And every once in a while you zoom out, Command 0, and you look. Does this look okay? Does this look okay? You know, and you can see, hey, there's a lot of space here, and there's still a lot of space right there. That needs to be tightened up a little bit. A little, not a lot. And this, which I pointed out at the beginning, I'm looking at this going, look at that. You know, and this also compared to this. So it's a dance. You zoom in, you zoom out. You zoom in, you zoom out. What you don't want to do is eliminate your tracking altogether. But here's a warning. After you kern, if you track, you're going to eliminate your kerning. It's going to be replaced with your new tracking setting. So you always track first. And here's a caveat. I did these two together because I wanted to teach you kerning, tracking, and leading with something we're about to use. Then I showed you using the poem, the stanzas that I had about many meanings. I showed you the traditional use of leading. When it comes to leading with very different size text, we're going to do these in two pieces. We're going to do this on one line, one point text. It'll be by itself, and then we'll do the title with another individual unique point text. So that way, when we get this perfectly kerned, then we can resize just this to fit Julius Caesar. You'll understand. We'll have more videos about this, but I want you to spend some time trying to kern and improve what you have here, getting those shortcuts down, because coming over here and clicking this all the time, very tedious, plus you're looking over here. You want to be looking right at what you're doing. You want your eyes here, and that's why you use the keyboard shortcuts. All right, there's your intro to kerning. It certainly won't be the last time we talk about it in here because it's something we're going to rely on all year long.